Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be about if AI is going to replace us as therapists. I know this is a hot topic in the news right now, and I wanted to give my 2 cents on it because I've been a part of a lot of conversations, both pro AI and con AI, and I wanted to share my own thoughts and kind of break down these two different camps of thought. So if you are someone who is thinking about becoming a therapist, or maybe you already are and this is of interest to you, then you are in the right place. If you are new here, hi, my name is Allyssa Powers, and I created this YouTube channel to teach you the things that grad school didn't so you can thrive in the mental health field. Now, when I was in grad school, I don't even think AI existed. In fact, I'm sure it existed, but it wasn't as common knowledge to all of us non-techie people. So this is definitely a newer thing that's on the horizon, but it is quite scary to have to think about because, we're already the lowest paid master's degree out there. So thinking about going through all of that school and then having to contend with AI is quite frightening. So if you are new here, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button. Also note down below in the description box, I have a link to an NCE study guide if you are looking to study for the National Counselor Examination. So just throwing that out there, let's get right into these two camps that I was talking about. And then at the end, I'm going to share with you my own personal thoughts, which, spoiler, is kind of in between, nuanced, a place to land that I think is taking both of these camps into consideration. So if we look at the people who say, yes, AI is going to replace us, these are the common things I see them talking about. The number one thing is money. Money and capitalism rule the world. As you know, that is just how it is, especially in America, if you are a therapist licensed in the United States. And AI would be cheaper to implement than hiring therapists. Hiring some sort of software that is an AI chatbot is going to cut costs for companies. We've already seen really scammy companies like BetterHelp and things of that sort that have basically taken big tech and sunk its teeth into the mental health field. So that is a really valid argument that money is king, and if AI is going to be cheaper, then maybe a lot of companies and even clients themselves are going to look at that as an option. The next thing that I see a lot of people talking about is the fact that AI is already being integrated into every EHR system, every note-taking platform. A lot of therapists now use note-taking platforms that listen to the client and the therapist talking, their conversation, and then it transcribes it into a note. And basically, this is ethical because you have to have your client's consent to do it. And that is a new thing. I don't want to get into all the nitty-gritty of the ethics behind that, but that is becoming more and more common. And then another thing I just see being talked about is the fact that these therapy chatbots already exist. And there is actually a new Times article about how a psychologist chatbot talked to some patients, and actually a few of them ended up completing suicide. And so I can link the article. It does cost money to read a Times article online. So I've only read the summaries, but that is so heartbreaking. But at the same time, people do talk to their therapists and then end up completing suicide as well. So not to say that, I don't know all the details of that exact article, but chatbots already exist. I know I shared this story before, but I wanted to have some help to stop catastrophizing a specific situation in my life. And I talked to ChatGPT about it and said, hey, can you walk me through the CBT steps to stop catastrophizing this situation? Gave it all the details, and it honestly did really help me. So those are some of the logical things that people in this, yes, it's going to steal our jobs camp kind of think about. And then the last thing that I think is really, really important, and I 100% agree with, is just that advocating and lobbying for things in our field is like near impossible because of how things are set up. I've said it before and I will say it again. We have the most convoluted field. Social workers, psychologists, LPCs, MFTs. There's probably more addictions counselors. Like, us to come together and lobby, there's like a million different boards. It's confusing to even get your clinical license. Like, I was so confused. That's probably why you've clicked on some of my videos in the past, is that what the heck is going on with the mental health field. So for us to, like, you know how the writers in Hollywood went on the writers' strike and their whole thing was that they didn't want AI to steal their jobs. They came together and lobbied. I'm sure that wasn't easy and I don't know all the details about that, but like, we need to be able to do that. But I don't know that that's possible. So switching gears to the no side of things, no, AI will not be replacing therapists. The number one thing I see people saying is that a computer is never going to replace human connection, empathy, and just the genuine understanding of what it is like to have a human experience, which I do think is extremely true, right? Like, maybe AI can do CBT because that's basically already a really regimented kind of structure, but can it cry with you? No, not really. So that's a huge argument that I see, and I do tend to agree with. And then another big thing I see talked about is that counselor and client fit. So the therapeutic relationship, if you've looked into Carl Rogers, you're familiar with him, maybe you've taken that theories course in grad school, talks about that therapeutic alliance. And that is the number one reason we have positive outcomes in therapy with clients, is that there is a strong therapeutic alliance and client counselor fit. And there's been lots of research done on that. I will try and link some of it below. But how much are you going to connect with an AI chatbot? Also, it's going to be saying the same sorts of things to everyone. It's not going to feel specific to you. And then the last thing, I think that this camp that says like, no, we're never going to be replaced, is that there are privacy concerns. Some people are really concerned about their own privacy. Maybe they work a high-powered job. Maybe they're just a private person. Like, that is the beauty of mental health care, is that we are HIPAA compliant and we are not able to just go and share anything. But if you are typing something in to a chatbot, that feels a lot less secure, right? Like, we're not sure what's actually going on with the internet and data being sold and all of that. So real privacy and ethical concerns. Now, before this video gets too long, I just wanted to share my view, because I think that there is a nuanced approach that we can take. I hear my dog starting to huff and puff. Sometimes she barks in her sleep. It's actually really cute, but I prefer it to not be on this video. So my personal view is that I don't think we're going to be replaced by AI fully, but I do think AI is going to start to be integrated more and more into the field in hopefully ways that are actually helpful and not harmful. So like the CBT example I gave, I don't see a problem with a client using something like ChatGPT to walk them through like how to not catastrophize or how to not have black and white thinking. I think that can actually end up being really helpful, and there are already apps that are doing that. I don't think it's going to replace the nuanced relationship and therapeutic alliance and rapport that we build with our clients. But I think it could make note-taking easier. It could make paperwork easier. It could make billing easier. And I feel like, you know, for most clinicians, that time we spend doing that admin work is not paid. So maybe it can even help us to have more time to ourselves, more autonomy, and less time doing the parts of this job that honestly we probably all hate. So I find that a lot of therapists are really old school and really rigid to change. And I get it when the field has kind of been set up a certain way for so long. It's hard when something groundbreaking like artificial intelligence comes in and changes things, especially because we have an ethical obligation to our clients. So yeah, when I first heard that people were having AI listen to their sessions and then take the note for them, I was like, ooh, that sounds really sketchy. But now that I've looked more into it and kind of seen more experts talking about it, I'm like, oh, actually that could save you a lot of time. And if your client is okay with it, then, you know, you're kind of covering your bases there. So therapists can be very rigid in their views. I think there's probably going to be a marriage of these two camps where, yes, we still are employed, but also we can use AI to make our lives easier. All right. Sorry that I am so out of breath in this video. My due date is actually tomorrow, and I'm still very, very pregnant, and I'm whispering because my son is sleeping in the other room. So I hope that this video was helpful. It was requested out of my little box of options, and I really like talking about this stuff, and I hope that you do too. If you are still here, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.